Hi, good morning. This is Madison from ServiceTitan. How is everyone this morning? We have a ton of attendees on the line, and we're so excited to welcome you onto this webinar and to introduce you to Brigham of Power Selling Pros. So we've got almost 90 of you here today. Can everyone see the question box? Can you type in and tell us where you're calling in from? Charlotte, North Carolina, Reno, Oregon, Virginia. How exciting. Nice to meet you all. Whitney, Spencer, Carrie, Renee. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else? Wow, Austin, sunny South Florida, Colorado Springs, Rochester, New York. We've got Quincy, Illinois. I'm a Chicago girl, so when I saw Illinois, I got really excited. Wichita, Kansas, Idaho, Chicago. Hey, Rebecca. Joliet. Hi, Adam. Concord, California. Phyllis from Texas. Brandy from Austin. Amanda from Iowa. Deb from Tampa. Hey there, Anna from Boise, Idaho. Brian from Phoenix. I'm going to Phoenix in a few weeks for a conference. I'm so excited to see beautiful Arizona. Tucson. Hi there, Belinda. Indianapolis, Southport. Wow, thank you everyone for joining. We've got quite the map of the United States covered here. Oh, it's so wonderful to see, that everyone's tuning in. I'm so excited to have you all. We'll be starting in just a few moments. Wanted to say Michigan. Hey there, Emily from Rhode Island, Pawtucket, Washington State. That's Nicole with 4 exclamation points. Lynn Wise is on from Contractor in Charge. Hey there, Deb. Hi, Lynn. Stacy, Michael. We've got Waco, Texas, Baltimore, Maryland, Atlanta. Hi, Vicki. Maryland. Awesome. Belleville's, Charleston. Awesome. So this is such a diverse crowd. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's check the time. It's 10:00. We're going to wait just 2 more minutes for just a few more folks. Hey, Brigham, are you on the
Yeah,
line? Do you
I'm on
want
the
to say
line.
hi to everyone?
How's it going, guys? Glad to see so many joining us. It's going to be great.
Awesome. And Brigham, you're out in Utah. Correct me if I'm wrong?
That's right. Anybody else from Utah? Not yet.
Well, I'll come visit you. We'll all come out to Power Selling Pros headquarters in Utah and come visit.
Oh, I would. It'd be so much fun.
Awesome. Well, okay, so let's see. It is 10:04, so we're going to wait just a few more moments. I know everyone is really excited to get started. We have a really great lineup, some great content. Brigham and I have been working hard to put everything together. Reggie has also been wonderful from the ServiceTitan marketing team. He's been working really hard as well, helping to monitor and field all the questions and helping us prep for today. So if you all have any questions at any time, please feel free to type it in the question box. We are very excited to answer any and all your questions. Awesome, so let's get started. So to the question box, I just want to make sure that everyone is heard and can ask any of their questions today. So today, we will be talking about 8 principles to help you wow more customers. We'll talk about how you're able to create an emotional connection over the phone and what an extraordinary call actually sounds like. And also how 1 extra call per day can dramatically change our business. So wait till you hear that. You're going to be so blown away and impressed by the numbers. And stay tuned till the very end. We have a very special Q&A with Brigham. All right, so before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit first about ServiceTitan. So I'm Madison, and I'm the Business Development Manager here at ServiceTitan. And ServiceTitan is an amazing #1 software platform for managing home services businesses, incorporating the industry's best practices to help run a better business, lower costs, improve sales, and provide a better customer experience in general. So with that said, I wanted to share a little story. Grown up in the business their entire lives, and they've also seen the ins and outs just growing up with their father business. And so the two dads actually asked their sons to help identify a software to really help them manage their business better. And they couldn't find one, so the two sons, R and Vahe, set out to create their. Is how ServiceTitan was born. So with that said, I'd love to introduce our special guest today, Mr. Brigham Dickinson. So Brigham is the president and founder of Power Selling Pros, a leading coaching and training firm dedicated to teaching call handling teams to wow more customers in the residential HVAC industry. So in 2009, Power Selling Pros trained 6 call handlers, and now they've trained over thousands and thousands. And these folks have come from all over the globe. So he's trained folks in England, in Australia, in Canada, and also the United States. Power Selling Pros growth comes through mostly referrals, thanks to their proven call handling certification process and their high level of customer satisfaction. Brigham, welcome, welcome, and thank you for your time today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So I wanted to share this special slide because when I saw these numbers, I was mind blown. Okay, so let's talk about how the average ticket is about $500, give or take. This is average. And if you have 1 extra call booked per day per CSR, so times 1, and then if you times it by the number of working days per year, so we've got 365 days in a year, in a calendar year, but how many of those days are working days? Only 261. So if you times 1 extra call with the value of $500 per ticket for 261 days, you've got $130,500. Brigham, is that not amazing?
It's incredible. It's incredible, and it's something that we do for clients every day. We've got a certification process that works, and it works every time. And when they follow the process that we teach, not only are they booking 1 more call a day, but they're booking 3 more calls a day, 4 more calls a day. The average contractors, without call recording, without listening to their phone calls, is probably booking about 55 to 60% of their calls. And I know what people are thinking, and they're going, that's not me, I'm the exception to the rule. You'd be surprised. If you're not listening to your phone calls on a regular basis, if you don't have coaching, you're probably booking less than you think. So yeah, 55 to 60% is the industry average, but when they're done with the certification process, boy, you're looking at 85, 90, 95% of your calls. So we're not just talking about 1 phone call. We're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if not more. So when you do the math, when you consider 1 book call, consider 10 more book calls, consider 15 more book calls. Just from the calls that are already coming into your office, it makes all the difference in the world.
Wow, there's so much potential. You know, if we're booking 10 calls or more, we're getting into the millions. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Such huge potential.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just with the calls that are coming into your office.
Wow. Okay, so I want to learn more about how people can do this. So I want to know, you know, when a call comes in, Brigham, how do we really connect with our customers?
You know, it's a great question because when a customer gets on the phone, we have a tendency to grab their address first or find out where they're, how close they are to a technician or that sort of thing. And the difficulty is that you don't get a chance to really connect with that customer. But if you can listen to them first, in other words, help them feel like they're being understood, cared about, reassured, and those are the things that they need. They have these emotional needs, and you've got to tap into those emotional needs. So, for example, in the beginning, if they're explaining their situation and the first thing you ask for is an address, they're going to be like, well, yeah, I'm happy to give you my address, but I don't even know if you understand my situation. If you don't understand my situation, how do I know that you care? How do I know that you can actually help me, that you're going to make me a priority? They have these emotional needs, and they need them fulfilled. They need them taken care of in order to feel comfortable moving forward with the appointment. So you absolutely want to connect with the customer, and the best way to do it, show them that you understand, show them that you care, and reassure them that you can help. Now, it's tough to do that over the phone. If we were face-to-face, I would have eye contact, you'd be taking notes, you might even be leaning forward, you'd probably be nodding your head up and down. I could see without saying anything that you're listening. But over the phone, we don't have that luxury. So we have to show them that we're listening. We have to show them that we care by using our words. So that's how it works. You definitely got to, the way to connect, you got to listen. You got to show them that you're listening. You got to show them that you care. And you have to reassure them. Once you do that, it's a whole lot easier because they like you.
Brigham, thank you so much for sharing. That is such an important component to this, and it's so easy to forget that, when we're just picking up the phone and answering the phone. So what a great reminder, that in the first 30 seconds, we have a great opportunity to make a really wonderful impression and really make them feel heard, cared for, and reassured. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I would love to learn more about how we can actually do this. I know that you have this pattern for excellence. Can you tell me more about how that all fits in?
Yeah, this is the basis for our curriculum. And we have 3 levels of certification, 8 pre-structured lessons in each. And they're all based on this foundation, this circle that you see here. And so there are 8 principles and there's 1 end goal. And if you wanted, what we'll do is we'll just go over each one of these and I'll explain in detail why each are important. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect. And so what does this ultimately lead to, when we master all of these principles?
The end goal is to create a wow experience. And a wow experience is that moment when your client recognizes that you went above and beyond in the way you took care of them. It's like, when somebody says wow, an expression where somebody says, wow, that was awesome, they're often used when the client describes how you created value for them in an unexpected way and won the moment. And that's just it. When a customer gets on the phone, we are the company. We are the first impression they have of the company, the last if they mess it up. And so we have to rock it. We have to rock it. We have to crush it. Now, how do you do that? Well, you win the moment. You win the moment by creating that wow experience. Now, look, byproduct of a wow experience, it's a booked call. Of course, you're going to book that call. A byproduct of the wow experience, another one would be making more money. But that's the goal. You want to create a wow experience. You want them to say wow. And if you say wow, boy, and you do it in every interaction, you're going to book a whole lot more phone calls. And the companies are going to make a whole lot more money. So that's the end goal. Create that wow moment.
Sounds great. Well, I'm interested in learning more, so let's rock and roll and jump to the first one. So here you say be positive. So let me tell you, in life, we've got ups and downs. Some days I have good days and some days I have bad days. How do I stay positive, especially when I'm on the phone?
A lot of CSRs that we work with would say that they're super happy people, that they're upbeat. And I completely agree. I don't discount how they feel about themselves whatsoever. But when a customer gets on the phone and they say, hey, you've been out to my home 3 times in the last 2 weeks, that's going to affect you. Don't say that it won't. Or when a technician says, hey, I don't know what you guys are doing over there in the office, but you guys gave me the wrong address, or this guy's not a lead, this guy's not a customer, or you might have somebody in the office that's negative. They take a look at the dispatch board and they go, hey, what did you do? And it says if you erased every appointment on the dispatch board, like you are personally responsible for that. And so these things happen. They creep up on you, and it could affect your state of being. So what do you do? Well, you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a plan in place that maintains that positive attitude. Now, why? Because when you're negative, it's contagious. It's negative energy, and the customer will sense it. And they may book with you, but rest assured they're going to call somebody else because something didn't feel right. And it is all about emotion. People buy emotionally what they can justify logically. And so when you're spewing out bad energy, they sense it, they notice it, they call someplace else, even if they book with you. And so you've got to make sure you keep your attitude in check and you're giving positive energy. People want to deal with those who are positive, those who are upbeat, those who give them energy. And so it's important that you maintain your ability to give energy as opposed to take it. How do you do that? There's a great list right here. Watching funny clips on YouTube is a great way to release endorphins, laugh. Having a minute of gratitude where you write down everything you're grateful for. Or even practicing yoga. You'd be surprised the positive reinforcement that occurs there. You just push your chair back, you've got your headset on, and while you're talking in the back of your head, you're going, yeah, how is this even possible? Try it. See what it does for you. See what it does for your state of being. Because you could do it right at your desk. Listening to positive music in the office. Maybe having each hour, just like they do at Texas Roadhouse, where you play a theme song and everybody kind of jumps up for a couple of seconds and dances. Why is this important? Positive energy. They'll sense it. They'll absolutely sense it, and that's why it's so important to keep it in check.
Wow, thanks for sharing. So positivity is really that contagious, and they can feel it, even on the other side of the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible. That's good to remember, watching funny clips, having a moment of gratitude, listening to some empowering positive music, just some small tweaks that change our mindset and change our, state and our thoughts. It's incredible.
That's it. You do that regularly, and they're going to sense that you're going to book more calls.
Awesome. We'll have to keep that in mind. So number 2, you talk about being confident. How does one exude confidence? You've shared with us how one exudes positivity on the phone call. How do you exude that same level of confidence?
See, here's the interesting thing about working with call handling teams is that there are many who have been doing it for a long time, and they feel like they've got it. But there's 2 things working against you. Number 1 is that the customer's expectation continues to get higher. Why is that? Well, because they know what great customer service looks like. And that definition of what great customer service looks like continues to go higher and higher and higher. Why is that? Well, when you go to Chick-fil-A and you experience the type of customer service they provide, the expectation goes up. When you go to Disney, the expectation goes up. When you shop on Zappos, the expectation goes up. When you fly on Southwest, the expectation goes up. When you go to Nordstrom's, the expectation goes up. And so the question is how do you meet that level of expectation? How do you exceed it constantly as it goes up? Because you can't take how you answered the phone 10 years ago and apply that to today because the customer's expectation is a whole lot higher. So as a professional in this industry, what are you doing to meet and exceed that expectation? Well, the only way is to practice before the phone rings. Take, for example, a professional football player, any of them, say Peyton Manning. If you were to hear him say, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to practice anymore. I've been doing this for years. I don't need to watch defenses on video. I don't need to coach. I don't need to strategize with anybody. Come on, I could coach the coach. You imagine him ever saying that?
No.
Probably not. Probably not. Why? Because he's a professional and he's constantly working on his game. He can always get better. Well, how many of the CSRs that we're talking to today, or the owners, how many of them are listening to their calls on a regular basis? Isn't that the equivalent of watching video if you're a football player? How many of you guys are practicing regularly with each other? Customer gets on the phone. They want a ballpark price. They want to know what your charges come out. They want to talk to a technician. You don't get calls like this. But when they come in, because rest assured they do, what are you doing to make sure that you're ready to book that opportunity? Somebody gets on the phone, they say, hey, what do you charge for a pound of R22? Are you going to lose that call? Are you going to book that call? If you're booking it, it's because you practiced beforehand. It's because you listened to your phone calls and worked it over and over and over again. It's because you've got a coach. That's what professionals do. If you're a professional and all you do is play the game, you're missing pieces. You need to work on your game so that you can book calls today. Not just book them, but create wow experiences so that when the customer hangs up, they go, wow. You're like 911, there's no 912, help is on the way. You want to be like that? You want to be indispensable to your organization? Practice first. Listen to your phone calls. Have a coach. You're a professional. And today, in order to be a professional, that's what you have to do.
Wow, I love that example you shared about Peyton Manning and a football player. What kind of preparation does he put in? He's a professional. We're professionals. In every line of work, we must invest, in improving ourselves and in coaching to be the best that we can be. And this is the exact same thing.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. So I want to know more about, so I'm confident and, I'm positive and you can feel it and that exudes on the phone call. But I can't see them in person. How do I show them that I'm listening, without having that body language and eye contact?
Yeah, that's a great question. So over the phone, they might sense your body language. They might sense you smiling. They might sense you sitting upright, and you've got great posture, and those things are extremely important. But in addition to that, to show somebody that you're listening, you're going to need to restate and rephrase. Now, you want to be careful with restating. Customer gets on the phone, they say, hey, my air conditioner's busted. And you say, okay, so your air conditioner's busted. And everybody like, yeah, that's what I just said. And so you want to rephrase the content a little bit. Hey, my air conditioner's busted. All right, so you've got an AC, it's not working at all right now. Now you've showed them that you completely understand without having to repeat them. You might want to ask other questions, such as, tell me more, what's it doing, has it been checked, how soon are you looking to get this done? Now, you may not want to ask all these questions. Can you imagine? Tell me more. Okay, so here's what's going on. What's it doing? Well, this is what it's doing. Has it been checked? Well, no, that's why I'm calling you. How soon are you looking to get this done? Now-ish? What kind of problem are you experiencing? Wait a minute, we just covered all this. You see, you don't need to ask all those questions, but just enough to get them talking about their situation and feel like you're engaged. You're present to the expression, the tone, and the intent of that customer, and they feel it, they sense it, and they feel like they're being understood.
That's great. Okay, that's great feedback. So we need to be present, and they can hear it in our tone, and the intention is clear, and they can just feel that. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Good to know. So then it comes to, showing them that we care, right? So as we're listening, as we're confident, we have that positive attitude, and we're rephrasing what they said. Does this show them that we truly care and that we're hearing them?
Okay, somewhat. You definitely want to show them that you understand. All right? Yes, you're confident, you're well practiced, you're positive, but at some point they're going to share something with you. Now look, if they're calling in for a tune-up, you probably don't need to express sympathy there. Can you imagine? I need a tune-up. Oh, you need a tune-up? Darn it. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
But there are going to be times where they say, you know what, my son is 4 months old, he can't go without AC. Or they might say, I take this pill for this and that pill for that, or I just had a hip replacement, or I'm working on a budget, or whatever the case may be, or it's really, really hot in here, or I've got family coming over and it's Thanksgiving, please help me. They share these things because they want you to know how grave their situation is. And so in that situation, you want to make sure that you express empathy. And empathy literally means feeling with someone. You want them to feel like you get them, that you're helping them carry this weight. Now, in any relationship, you might say to a loved one, you might say, look, I don't need you to come up with any solutions. I can come up with my own solutions. I just need you to care. I just need you to feel with me, right? Now, some people that are on this call are like, man, I really wish my husband was here right now. But you get my point. My point here is that people have a need to be cared about. And so the thing that you want to be careful with is saying sorry. People say sorry a lot. And there's like 132 people on this call and counting. And I'm willing to bet that 2/3 of them say sorry on a regular basis. Customer gets on the phone and they say, look, I've got a son who's 4 months old, he can't go without AC, and my mother-in-law who's 80 years old is living with us, and there's no way we can do this. And we say, oh, sorry about that. You know how often people say sorry? It is constant. It just doesn't stop. And what happens is sorry begins to lose its meaning. I've got a friend, her name is Peggy Rogers, and she's fantastic, except that she's constantly apologizing. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Sometimes she recognizes, she says sorry, she says, I'm so sorry, I'm saying sorry. Really? My daughter who's 16, Bella, she says sorry. She follows it up with my bad. Is she sorry? She's going to be. She's going to be sorry. And so my point here is that you want to say something that is a little bit more creative when expressing empathy. So if you want to relate to them, if you've ever been without AC or without heat, that's not fun. That sucks. And so what you do is you express that you've been there as well. You're carrying the weight with them. Use an expression of concern, a simple or a huh, or a wow, or a geez, or a woof, or a All those things will help show that you are feeling with this individual that you're talking to over the phone. Agreeing with them, oh, that's terrible, that's horrible. My goodness, I hate to hear that. That sort of thing. Feel for their circumstance. Can't imagine. I can't imagine what you're going through right now. You see, there's a ton of ways to express empathy without having to use the S word to show that you are feeling with them and that you're completely engaged. And when you do this, you listen, you care, guess what? They begin to like you. They begin, and again, if they like you, it changes the game. It changes everything.
Wow, I love that you shared that with us. The meaning of real empathy. How do we convey that we understand and that we care and we feel, that's truly a terrible situation and we want to help them get out of it. We understand how important it is to them that we get this fixed and that we understand, what they're going through. And we don't have to say sorry to convey that. That is powerful because you're right. We say sorry too much and it begins to lose its meaning. It's something I think our society does. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that tidbit. Would love to move on to the next one. So say yes. So after we hear all these things and the CSR, we're ready to help. So is it as simple as just, saying yes? How do we convey that we're ready to help and we're excited and we understand and, we're ready to rock and roll?
Yeah. For starters, the customer's not sure that they've called the right place. You're one of many that they're likely going to call on their list because they're not sure. And they're going to ask questions and they're going to make sure that they've called the right place. Hopefully someone in that conversation is sure that they can help. And hopefully it's us. Hopefully it's the CSR, it's the call handling team. And so first things first, you definitely want to reassure them. But there's more to that than that. We say no more often than we think. For example, hey, I'm looking for a ballpark price. Yeah, we don't give prices over the phone. Okay, thanks, bye. Hey, I just want to talk to one of your technicians. Oh, I'm so sorry. They're all out in the field. And I said sorry to boot, right? There's two strikes against me. And they say, oh, okay, thanks, fine, they're gone. Or we say, yeah, there's no way we're going to give it anybody out today. Oh, it is just crazy in our schedule right now. It's just not happening. And rest assured, there are a bunch of people laughing right now because that's exactly what they do. And they shouldn't. We say no way too often, and we need to cut it out. We need to focus in on what we can do, not on what we cannot do. And it's just, look, I can't explain how important it is. The world goes round when you say yes. How does the world go round? Well, if you want your kid to come home before midnight because it gets dangerous the longer he's outside, you're hoping that when you ask him to be home before midnight, you're hoping he says yes. When you are wanting somebody to sign on the dotted line. Everybody wants to sell a system around here. Well, we're hoping that they say yes as opposed to no. You see how the world goes around when you say yes? Say you want to ask somebody's hand in marriage, and you've done everything, right? You've given them all these subtle hints, and you've practiced a couple of times. You set up the right area and situation, and you pop the question. You're looking for them to say yes, because if you say I know, it's going to ruin not just your day but your entire month because you worked so hard just to get here. But the point is this: it is all about yes. What that means is you should stay away from no, because no requires no obligation. No is nothing. Stay away from no. Just focus in on what you can do. Here's what I can do. Here's what I can do. Hey, I want a ballpark price. Great. Tell me more about your situation. What's going on? Well, I've got this air conditioner. It's blowing hot air. It's really a bad situation. Oh, my gosh. It sounds like, well, look, you called the right place. When would you like us out? Oh, this afternoon would be good. What just happened there? You see, our goal is to focus in on what we can do, never what we cannot do. Customer wants a ballpark price, and they're adamant about it. Mr. Jones, if we give you a price over the phone, we come out and give you a different price, are you going to be happy with that? Well, no, I'm not going to be happy at all. All right, well, let us come out. Let us come out. Let us take a look at the situation. We'll give you a price while we're there, and it's going to be accurate. You see, I never once said no. Never once. Don't say no. Say yes.
That is powerful. So my biggest takeaway from that was just never say no. Always turn it into a yes. So if they're asking about the pricing and how much it's going to cost right off the bat, nobody can know these things accurately without going and seeing it. So, focus on what we can do, not what we can't do. That changes the entire dynamic of the situation. That is powerful. So after we say yes, Brigham, we're ready to, ask when. So can you tell me, how do I ask when? What is the best time to ask when? Sometimes.
Okay, so go ahead.
Do they want to hear it sometimes in the beginning? Do they want to hear in the middle? Or do you always say it at the end?
It's a great question. I would say it as often as I need to get the appointment booked. And here's what I mean by that. This is a scary question. I think it's about the third bullet point down. When would you like us to come out? I would say that 2/3 of the people on this call would freak out to ask that question because the answer is right now. And if you're booked solid, that's the last question you want. You don't want to set them up to fail, right? It's a very scary thing. But there are 2 reasons why you want to ask that question anyway, even if you're booked for 3 weeks. Number 1, when you ask, when would you like us to come out, you're going to find out what their expectation is. Now, whether you ask to know or to learn that expectation or not, they still have an expectation. So you might as well find out what it is. That's number 1. Number 2, when you ask the right question, you're looking for the right answer. Our ultimate goal, regardless of when we can come out, is that we come out. We want to come out. So when you ask the right question, you create a picture in their minds of us coming out, which is the whole point. We don't want to give them a ballpark price over the phone. We don't necessarily want to talk about what we charge to come out. Well, we're going to talk about it eventually. We're going to get there. But we don't want to talk about that right now. Right now, we want them to get focused on us coming out, because at the end of the day, that's how we make money. So we might as well ask, when would you like us to come out? Find out what the expectation is. Now, are we going to say, sure, we can come out right now when you ask? No. We are just finding out what that expectation is so that we can deal with it the best way possible. But if you don't ask, you're not going to know. And when it comes to when would you like to come out, you ask in the beginning, how often do we ask it? When do we ask it? You want to take care of their emotional needs first. You want to show them that you're listening. You want to show them that you care. You want to reassure them that they've called the right place. Once you've taken care of those emotional needs, and you can do it very, very quickly, then you ask a question of your own, which is, when would you like us out? Oh, this afternoon would be good. Great. Let me get your contact information. We'll look at the schedule together. Did I say I could come out right now? I didn't.
No.
I just said, let me get your contact information, and we'll look at the schedule together. That's the goal. The goal is to get them thinking about us coming out, because ultimately, that's what we want, to come out.
That's great. No, absolutely. I think you really nailed it, where you talked about, address their emotional needs, let them know that you care and you're listening, and then, empower them and let them know, hey, I'm going to take care of you. Let me find out when we can come out and see what's going on. So this all leads to building value, it sounds like. So how do we actually build value first? Because so often they're calling on the phone and they're saying, hey, how much is this going to cost? Oh, no, I'm not interested. Okay, well, you're not going to tell me the price. I don't know. How do you build value first? How do you show them, that we have value to offer, and get them to consider that and be open-minded about it?
Okay, so that's a great question. Customer gets on the phone and they say, hey, what do you charge to come out? And we think, oh, that's a price shopper. Oh, those darn price shoppers. They're just looking for a price. And we're not focused, and we lose those opportunities. We say our price is X, and they move on. Well, nobody wins there. Not the customer, because they're not working with the best company. And neither does the company win, because they're not working with a customer. Everybody loses in that scenario. So how do you turn that around? It's very simple. You got to build value first. Now, you want to take care of their emotional needs. You want to show them that you're listening, caring, saying yes, asking the right questions, and then, of course, asking for that appointment. After the appointment is booked, you're going to build value before you present that fee. Now, the simplest way to do it is just say, Mr. Jones, I'm going to send out a technician. He's trained. He's certified. He's backpacked. He's been around for the last 30 years now, so you're in great hands. He'll come out with a fully stocked truck. He'll look at the scope of the work. He'll determine exactly what needs to be fixed and give you a price before he starts. Now, there is a fee of extra to come out and do that. So you're all set there. You see, I just build value first. Now, that's one way to do it. And level 1, that's what we teach you. But if you get to level 3 with our certification process, we start focusing in on the specific technicians that we're sending out. Say, for example, I know that I'm going to be sending out Louis, and Louis is fantastic. I'm going to send Louis out to your home. He's going to take a look at your situation. He's going to determine if it's just air purification that you need, or maybe some zoning, and we're going to take great care of you. Now, Louis, he's just like a big teddy bear. He's great at taking care of indoor air quality and air purification, and because that's specifically what you're looking for, he's an expert at that, and he's going to take care of that. He's going to answer all your questions for you. And now you're not just worried or concerned about any technician come to your home. You're excited about Louis coming to your home, and guess what? You don't care how long it takes for Louis to get there, because it's Louis. It's Louis coming to your home, and you might wait throughout the day for that individual. And you've also built the value before you present the fee, and the fee doesn't matter. Why? Because they like you. It's kind of like an infomercial. In an infomercial, they give the price in the beginning or the end. They give that in the end. Yeah, and the reason why they do that is because they're building value throughout. So you get to the point where, yeah, it's chump change. It's for the value that's involved. It's a no-brainer. And the same thing holds true with the customer getting on the phone and saying, hey, what do you charge to come out? That's not a price shopper. That's a value shopper. That is somebody that's saying, hey, look, I don't know the difference between you and the next guy aside from your dispatch fee. Now, if they get off the phone still feeling that way, whose fault is that?
That's us.
Yes, that is on us. So we've got to build value. These are value shoppers that should be booked, should be wowed, and it's on us if we don't do that.
Wow. Okay. So then we can talk about, our local awards, our company. We can talk about how great our techs are, to really show them that we are definitely not the same as our competitors, and really be able to get them to understand us at a very emotional level, maybe how involved we are with the community, some of the great work we've done locally, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
So before I end calls, I want to make sure that we can leave with gratitude, that we bring it full circle, that we understand them, we hear them, we care about them, that we're empowering them and we're ready to help them and they feel like they're taken care of. So how do I end it with gratitude? It's kind of the beautiful bow at the end.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Madison, I've got a good friend. His name is Keen Farr, and he's well into his 80s. And he and I, we talk about life. We talk about the weightier matters. And on one in particular day, I was sitting on his porch, and he was talking about his friends, how they were dying around him. And he began to hint that he was gonna die too. And I hated that. I mean, the guy's almost 90, but he's such a figure, and a great guy that changes everything. The dynamic in the neighborhood. He's super positive, super upbeat. The kids feel safe around him. It's just awesome to have him around. So I said, look, you can't die. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, you're the sage in the neighborhood. He says, oh, it's sage you want. And then he forgot what we were talking about. He's kind of moved on. And I thought, okay, so he's almost 90, not a big deal. Well, 2 days later, he knocks on my door and he presents me this little bottle of sage leaves. And he says, here you go, Brigham. After I'm gone, you'll still have sage. How cool is this guy? Right?
Yeah,
and
that's so sweet.
Yeah. And so he said, let me give you some sage, Brigham. He says, there's this gal named Kobe Lynn, and she's great. And she had this youth camp out that she invited him to, and he went and he addressed this youth at this camp out, and it was great. Well, 2 weeks later, he receives a thank you letter from Kobe Lynn, and he says, I got to tell you, you might get an email or a phone call where somebody says thank you, but very rarely today do you ever get a thank you letter. And I got to tell you, every time I see Kobe Lynn, and it's been 4 years now, I can't help but think of that thank you letter. You see, that's wow. And that's based on gratitude. When you say thank you, what you're really saying is you made a difference. And when somebody feels like they've made a difference, they feel important. And when people feel important and you made them feel that way, they become loyal. They become loyal to you. They become loyal to your cause. And that's what gratitude is all about. It's about creating loyalty.
That is powerful. Those are powerful examples. Going the extra step and the extra mile, like Kobe Lynn writing a card. Nobody does that anymore. Handwritten things are so much of a lost art in our society, but I know they make the biggest difference. So here at ServiceTitan, that's something that we really pride ourselves in, and going the extra mile for our customers, whether it's through a thank you card or, remembering the little things. I think you're right, Brigham. It all shows gratitude.
Yeah.
Awesome. So next slide, you and I get to practice this, Brigham. But before we practice and before we start being CSRs and customers, I want to make sure that everyone is doing well in the webinar, that if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them into the question box. Reggie, our talented marketing guru, is monitoring our questions box to make sure that every question gets answered. So please, if you have any question, a big question, a little question, please type it in, because Brigham and I are happy to answer all of them. Okay, Brigham, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so how about I be the customer first and you can be the CSR?
Sounds great. So our goal in the beginning is to create a connection, right? And let's just do the first 30 seconds. Let's do on up to when would you like us to come out. Building value is going to depend greatly on what specifically is involved with each company. So if we just focus in on the first 30 to 60 seconds where we go through the first 6 principles, I think that would be enough. Does that sound all right?
Sounds perfect.
All right, cool. So I'll be the CSR. And I'm going to go ahead and you be the telephone. Just go ring, 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 and then I'll start with my greeting.
Sounds good. Ring, ring, ring.
They're calling Totally Awesome Heating and Cooling. This is Brigham. How can I help?
Hi, Brigham. My name is Madison. My AC is blown. Oh, I'm so
Oh
upset.
no.
You know, my grandma just moved in with us and she's 85 and she's so uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, Brigham, what do I do?
Well, look, you definitely called the right place. Um, so your grandma is coming, or she lives there?
She just moved here about a week ago and I promised her that this is a beautiful home and that everything is perfect because she's not
Well,
feeling
of
very
course it
well.
is. Of course it is, and we're going to make sure it stays that way. Now, I want to make sure that I grab your name. You said it was Madison?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Well, we can definitely help you with that, Madison. When would you like us out?
Can you come in 2 hours?
Okay, so let's pause right there. So our goal in the beginning is to take care of the emotional needs first, right?
Uh-huh.
You were so great about explaining your entire situation. I want to say there is tell me more. You know why?
Why?
Because you gave me all that I needed. And if you say tell me more, and there's a and 2/3 of the people on this call are going to be like, yeah, I wouldn't ask tell me more either. But if you because you might go on and on and on and on and on. But you gave me just
Mhm.
enough information. I had all the information that I needed. So all I needed to do there was
Mhm.
express some empathy, reassure you that we called the right place, and ask for the appointment. Done. We're
Mhm.
rocking.
Mhm.
We're already focusing in on the next step, which is for us to come out. Um, so in most cases, say if a customer says very little over the phone, say for example, I
Mhm.
want a ballpark
Mhm.
price. In those situations, tell me more. Well, I've got this air conditioner and it's blowing hot air. They say they want to know what you charge to come out. Well, it depends on your situation. Can you tell me more about it? You see, you get them talking about the situation itself as opposed to their perceived solution to the problem. Say they want a tune-up. And you think, okay, yeah, I can just book a tune-up. No, 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 no. Ask more questions. You need a tune-up. Okay, tell me what's going on with your system. Well, it's not working the way that it should. Well, that's not a tune-up. That's a service call. And so we want to ask questions in the beginning to get them talking, give us more information. But if they give it to us without us asking, we don't need to do that. We don't need to say, tell me more.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, call recordings. Now that we've done our own demonstration, let's hear some others who have done phenomenally. All right.
This is Katie. How may I help you? Hi, Katie. Absolutely. Oh, no, what's going on? Well, we don't know. We opened up our crawl space and found water, and then we noticed there were drips coming down from the beams. Okay. So we need to have somebody come. All right. We'll be happy to get out there. When do you expect to come out?
So there's one. She listened, she cared, she said yes, and she asked when. Pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Let's listen to the second one.
This is Vicki. How may I help you?
Who am I speaking to?
This is Vicki with Plumbing, Air, and Electric.
I'm sorry, I have the wrong number.
Are you sure you don't need us for anything? Plumbing, electrical?
I could probably use you for a plumbing issue.
Well, talk to me about it. Tell me what's going on.
I've got a 5-year-old house on a slab, one story with a bonus room, and we've got loud banging inside the walls when we turn off a faucet.
Is it just one faucet that does that?
No, it does it on all of them, I think, just maybe to a lesser degree, but that's something you guys could.
Sure, we can definitely help you with that. Now, is it the hot water side, cold water side, or
Either.
Either?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can definitely help you with that. When were you looking at having someone out there?
Awesome. Could everyone hear that?
Yeah, I definitely heard it. So that was a wrong phone number in the beginning. And when you ask the right questions, remember, you never say no. Tell me more. What's it doing? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Look, you've called the right place. We can help. When would you like us out? And you're booking that opportunity. You book every call, even if it's the wrong phone number. So those are some great examples.
Perfect, perfect. I love how it was a wrong phone number and they were able to book it. I love that. Okay, so we are nearing the end of our presentation, but don't you worry, we still have a Q&A, so we can ask Brigham any question that you may have about the pattern of excellence, about, excellent CSR, training and calling. But first, I wanted to just review a few key takeaways. So on this call, we have learned that one extra call per day could mean just an extra $130,000 in annual revenue a year. And keep in mind, that is from just one CSR. So if you got a team of 15, 10 amazing CSRs, this could actually go up to the millions. And also, we learned from Brigham that the first 30 to 60 seconds is vital and is your time to make an impeccable impression and determines really the outcome and the success of the phone call. We also learned that creating an emotional connection is the best method to book any call. And we also learned about the pattern of excellence and how that framework helps us improve and helps us be able to get more booked calls. So let's just review that very quick. So number 1, be positive. Number 2, confident. 3, listen. Number 4, show that you care. Number 5, always say yes. Number 6, ask when. Number 7, always build value first. And number 8, close with gratitude. So with that said, Brigham, is there a value to modifying the sequence sometimes? Can we do that? Or do you have to follow the pattern 100%? And is there a time when, maybe I shouldn't use all the principles?
See, that's a great question, and to a certain extent, we talked about that earlier. But when it comes to either listening or caring or reassuring, the only thing that I've found that you should absolutely say on every call is, yes, I can help you with that. I mean, even if they're asking for a pizza, you can help them. It may take you some time to jump up on Google and find out what it's going to take to help the customer get a New York style pizza, but you can still say yes, and you can say it every time. We've even demonstrated that even with the wrong phone number, you can book that call as well by saying yes, focusing in on what you can do, never what you cannot do. But yeah, there are going to be times where you don't need to express sympathy. There'll be times where listening is taken care of naturally, and you don't need to ask any more questions. There might even be times where you modify the way you build value. If you've got an existing customer who's been working with you over and over and over again, the way you build value with them is very simple. You know what? You're in great hands. You've been working with us for years. You've built value. So bottom line is sure, you can definitely modify this as much as you want. But as far as the sequence goes, we have found that when you follow it in order, you're absolutely going to book more calls than not following in its sequence. So just keep that in mind.
Sounds perfect. Thank you for sharing that wisdom. All right, so I want to go to the next slide. So for everyone out there who's listening today, Brigham has a very, very special offer for us. So they've been very generous. They have been very generous, and they've told us that, they're extending this one-time offer to text 801-590-4995 for a free 100-call analysis and a free consultation. So it's a very, very generous offer that Brigham and his team have put together for the folks on the ServiceTitan PSP webinar. So if you're interested and if you're excited to make more money, make an extra $130,000 for your business for one outstanding CSR, please, please, please do not miss out and send him a quick text, and they'll get you, on board to look at your calls, figure out what small tweaks you can make to really empower your CSRs. With that said, oh, yes, Brigham?
Yeah, I just wanted to interject with the one more book call offer. It's very simple. You just text to that number, and what we'll do is we'll listen to 100 phone calls from beginning to end, and we'll determine exactly what you specifically need to do to book at least one more phone call a day. So in other words, we're going to make that extra $130,000 very, very achievable, and we're going to do it for free. So we'll listen to 100 phone calls from beginning to end, and then we'll pinpoint specifically the steps you need to take to book at least one more phone call a day, and we'll provide a free consultation. Now, you should come to it, and you should invite your entire staff, your entire team, and we will teach you the specific steps you need to take to book at least one more phone call a day. So yes, it is a very big deal. We're basically putting $130,000 in your pocket right now. All we have to do is listen to your phone calls, pinpoint specifically what you need in particular, and then we'll give you that free consultation. No obligation whatsoever. Just text ONE, O-N-E, to that number, 801-590-4995, and we'll help you book one more call at no cost.
Awesome. Thank you, Brigham. Our next slide, here at ServiceTitan, we want to make sure that everyone stays up to date and gets to hear about our upcoming events and our webinars and what trade shows we'll be at, and just stay up to date with all the news and all the happenings here at ServiceTitan, because we're folks that are really excited about the space. We're always looking to add value and share the most up-to-date information to really help you all grow your businesses. So please like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/ServiceTitan. With that said, I'd love to open it to Q&A. I've got one question from Mariano. Mariano asks, what if a customer is about to hang up because you won't give them a price over the phone? Brigham, what do you think about that?
Okay, so let's say somebody gets on the phone, they say, look, I'm just looking for a ballpark price. And they keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and they're about to hang up. And I know that's a great question to ask, and that's probably what you're thinking. But here's the thing. If they like you, it's going to be harder for them to hang up. Let me just give you one example. Say a stranger comes into your kitchen and makes a mess of it. What are you going to do to that stranger? You're probably going to kick them out, right? They're gone. There might be a gun involved.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you're in the South, it could happen. Just ask the people in Atlanta. So let's say we switch the character of the person who made the mess in your kitchen. Let's say it was your 4-year-old son. Now I'm just saying for instance here, okay? 4-year-old son makes a mess in the kitchen. You going to kick him out? Probably not. Why? Because of the relationship. Now there might be a teaching opportunity there where you say, hey, look, next time you want to pour the milk, let me do it. But you're not going to kick them out. You're not going to be rash with them. You're going to be more amiable. You're going to be more flexible. You're going to be more reasonable. And that is my point. If you can get them to like you in the beginning of the phone call, they're going to be more reasonable. They're going to be more flexible. Now, I did this with a business owner in New Orleans. And this guy was hard, right? He was in your face. In fact, he was calling me out. He's like, this is absolute bull. As we practiced together, I said, look, we'll practice in real time right now. I'll be the CSR, you be the customer, and you be as mean as you want. Well, we get to about 3 minutes into that phone call, that practice, and he stops and he says, well, I'm not a jerk. I said, time out, just a minute here. Why did you stop the role play? Well, because I'm not a jerk. It's hard for me to do this. And I said, why is it so hard for you to do this? And he said, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just not this way. And I said, I will tell you why. It's because you like me. Now, this big burly guy looks at me and he's like, I don't like you. What are you talking about? Like, it's true. You like me. You see, when I get on the phone and I say, Mr. Jones, this is Brigham with Power Sling Pros. How can I help? Yeah, this is Mr. Jones. I'm just looking for a ballpark price. Great. Tell me more about your situation. What's going on? Well, I've got this air conditioner. It's blowing hot air. It's not working the way it should. Oh, my gosh, that's terrible. How long has it been doing that? Oh, last couple of days now. So wait a minute. You've been dealing with this for the last couple of days? Yeah, no. I just got to get this thing fixed. Well, look, you've called the right place. We can help you with that. When would you like us out? Well, before I have anybody come out, I really want to get an idea as to what you guys are going to charge me for a new system. Completely understand. Here's what we do. What we do is we send out a comfort advisor. He comes out, he takes a look at the situation, he determines exactly what you need, and he gives you a price while he's there. So when would you like us to come out? Well, geez, I really just want to get an idea as to what you might charge over the phone. Okay, I got it. So you'd like to get an idea as to exactly what I might charge you for a system, and you're just doing some preliminary work. Is that right? Yeah, man, that would be super great. Here's the thing. If I give you a price over the phone and I come out and give you a different price, are you going to be okay with that? Well, sure, as long as it's lower when you come out here. Sure. Okay, that may not happen. What if it's higher? Well, no, I'm not going to be happy with that. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. We need to come out and do a heat load calculation. We need to come out and take a look at the situation. Let me ask you, anybody suffer from allergies or asthma in your home? Oh, yeah, my son suffers from allergies. Okay. Are there any hot or cold areas in the home? Yeah, in the back room, it's really cold in the wintertime. We just can't get it to warm up. Well, the reason why I ask these questions is it's kind of like comparing the system that you have now to like an old desktop computer and a new system to a laptop, like an iPad Pro, right? There's so many more bells and whistles. And it's not just about keeping you cool or warm. It's about cleaning the air you breathe. It's about keeping different temperatures in each room. You can control everything on your iPad, by the way. So the point here is that you're going to be living with this thing for the next 15 years. And so you might as well get something that absolutely rocks for you, that is awesome. And so that's why we want to come out. We want to find out what you need, how you need it, who you need it for, and then give you exactly what you're looking for. And then we give you the price while we're there. So when would you like us to come out? By the time I'm done, they're saying, yeah, okay, let's do it. Why? Is it because they caved?
No.
Connected with them on an emotional level.
Excellent. Brigham, I have another burning question for you. So
Yeah.
if we have a CSR that's very good on the phone, he's brilliant on the phone, except it sounds like he's bored, but he really isn't. But it's just how his voice sounds. How do you train reps to sound enthusiastic? So this is a great question that one of our audience members submitted, and I'd love to hear your thoughts around that.
Yeah, they need to practice. They need to practice, and if they won't practice before the phone rings, I want to give them another job. Now, I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're fantastic, but you don't want to give the customer the wrong impression. You don't want to drive them away. I mean, you got to be completely engaged. I mean, just look how you and I are talking to each other right now. We're engaged. We're in the game. It's inviting. It's comforting. It's giving people energy. You need to learn to speak this way, to communicate this way, so that you're giving energy as opposed to taking it. That gentleman needs practice. That gentleman needs to listen to himself, and he also needs to listen to others. You see, we have a library of recorded calls. We've accumulated the best practices over the years. And so not only do you listen to your own calls, but you're able to listen to the very best in the industry. And so you're able to see, because if you just listen to yourself, you might not know much of a difference in the way that you sound. But when you hear somebody who's booking 95% of their calls, and you hear how they sound, how inviting they are, how engaging they are, how contagious their energy is over the phone when they speak, you go, wow, I've got to work on some things. And you go, you know what, you're right, let's work on that together. But you've got to listen to your own phone calls. You've got to practice. And if they're not willing to do those things, I'm sorry, get them off the phone.
Wow. Okay. Absolutely. I would love to learn more about how to handle aggressive customers. Someone who's really upset, verbally aggressive. How do you advise the CSR to handle that?
Okay, so they're angry, they're upset, they're frustrated. You're going to connect with them. Most of the time, and it's very interesting, most of the time, if you are able to feel with them so that they're understood, they're cared about, they're reassured, that is what's going to help them. I was just in Portland last week, and I got asked this very same question with a group of CSRs. And they said, look, I gave that customer solution after solution after solution, and never once did they say, that sounds great, that sounds wonderful. They just would not be appeased. And I just feel like no matter what you do, you can't please everyone. And I said, I disagree. I disagree. That person didn't want a solution. That person wanted you to understand. And you needed to show them that you understood. That person wanted you to care about them. That person wanted to be reassured that they've called the right place. I promise you, just like you do in every interaction, in every one of your relationships. Earlier on, I said, look, if your husband is trying to give you solution after solution after solution, and you're like, stop, I'm smart. I can come up with my own solutions. Feel what I'm saying. And when somebody has to do that, you're like, dude, there's no points you're going to get at this point. You're in the doghouse. But take a mental note so that next time you're in that situation, you actually win the moment and you say, wow, sweetheart, I can imagine what you're going through right now. Wow, is that what happened? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. You see, I feel better already. Why? Because I just carried that with you. If it's somebody that won't be appeased, it's most likely because they don't feel like you understood them, cared about them, or reassured that you could help. Emotional.
Got it.
Not
No, that's
logical.
awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. It makes a lot of sense. We have to hear them. We have to connect with them emotionally. Mariah asked, Brigham, how do we combat having no tech being available? When we ask, when can we come out? How do we combat that? If no tech is available, no tech is available.
It's a great question. Okay, so the customer gets on the phone, and you get to when would you like to come out? They say right now, and your book's solid. That's what we're talking about right now. And you say, okay, great, let me get your contact information, and we'll look at the schedule together. Here's what we do regardless. If a customer cancels, we are going to call another customer and ask them to come if we can come a little bit sooner. If a technician gets done early in a specific area, we're not going to let them sit there in that 2-hour window. We're going to call the next customer, asking them a favor, and see if we can come out sooner. Now, everybody on the line knows that this is what you already do. Now, you might have this thing called a waiting list or a standby list or something of that nature, but you're never going to call that again after this call. Here's what we're going to call it from here on out. We're going to call it the urgency list. Okay, because nobody wants to stand by for anything. I know, because I've been in Mexico stuck for 2 days on standby. Not fun. I was playing a game. I didn't understand the language, and it was house rules, so I lost every time. Nobody wants to do standby. Okay, so you call it urgency list. Mr. Jones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you on today's urgency list. Now, the urgency list gives you faster service. As soon as a customer calls in to reschedule, or a technician gets done early in your area, I'm going to move you into that slot. But in order to get you on today's urgency list, I need to get you into the schedule. Now, I've got an opening on Tuesday between 2 and 4. Can I book that appointment in order to get you on today's urgency list? And we'll call you as soon as the technician is on his way. So what are we doing there? Say we've got 10 people on this urgency list, and those 5, let's say 5 out of 10 we're able to get to. Why? Because we have cancellations every day. Now, when we call these people, we're not going to say, hey, we have a bunch of cancellations. Do you want to work with us? No. We had a bunch of people reschedule, or we had somebody reschedule, and a technician is on his way. And what do? Oh, my gosh, you're amazing. And they go online and they say, these guys are so incredible. I called 5 different companies, and they all said no, but these guys put me into their schedule, and they got out to me same day. They're incredible. Well, the reality is that there was an opening that came up, or a technician gets done early in your area. So those 5 people are raving about you, right? They are singing your praises. Now, some of the people on the line right now, they're saying, okay, well, what do we do about the other 5 that we don't get to? What about those, Brigham, right? There are people right now that are saying, yeah, what about those? Well, this is what you do with those guys. You call those 5 up at the end of the day and you say, Mr. Jones, we've had you on today's urgency list. Now, we've got 10 technicians in the field, some of which are working till midnight, from dawn till dusk, doing everything they can to take care of as many families as we possibly can. We don't say customers anymore. See, now it's an emergency, so we say families that we're dealing with right now. We're going to get you on tomorrow's urgency list, Mr. Jones. As soon as a customer calls in to reschedule, technician gets done early in your area, we're going to move you into that slot. As the worst case scenario, we do have you on the schedule for Tuesday between 2 and 4. We will call you as soon as the technician is on his way. We are so grateful for your patience. Do you see how I just made a yes out of that no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It is all about yes. You never say no. You just got to have an answer that's creative. So the answer to your question is create an urgency list. Customer calls in to reschedule. Technician gets done in your area. You move them into that slot, and you're a hero.
Wow, that's phenomenal. What a smart idea, an urgency list. It makes them feel special. It makes them feel like, you're really putting them at the top of mind, that you're always thinking about them. And just because you're not available today or you don't have a tech that you can dispatch now, they're at the top of your list the moment that a tech is available. What a brilliant idea. Now, Brigham, I want to be respectful of your time, and I want to be respectful of our audience's time. We've got over 120, 30 folks joining us, and I want to make sure I'm respectful of everyone's time. So this will be our last question. Yeah. So, Brigham, Marissa asks, what kind of response should we give a customer when they get upset that there's a dispatching fee?
Okay, it's a great question. So say you've done everything right. Let's pretend that you connected in the beginning by listening, caring, saying yes. Let's say that you built immense value before you presented that fee, and they still balk at the fee. The person who asked this question, that's what she's saying right now. She's saying, yeah, that situation right there. And I'll tell you exactly what you do. Mr. Jones, is it just the fee that you're concerned about? Yeah, I don't want to pay it. I don't want to pay that for you to just come out and take a look at the situation. So if it weren't for the fee, you'd move forward with the appointment. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, there's one thing we can do. We've got a service agreement. It's awesome. We come out in the spring. We come out in the fall. We make sure your system is running at peak efficiency. The best part about the service agreement is that it prevents things like this, the thing that you're dealing with right now, from happening. % off of all the services you provide when you're a member with us. Plus, you get priority service. So if you wanted, I can get you on the service agreement as opposed to having to get the dispatch fee today. For those business owners that are probably sitting right next to you, at least I hope they are, right? I could ask them, Mr. Jones, Mr. Business Owner, right? And let's say his name is Mr. Jones. Let's just go with that. If I were to get you a service agreement, but I'd have to forego the dispatch fee to get it, would you take that? And 9 times out of 10, in fact 10 times out of 10, they're going to say, yes, I will take that. And I only know that because I've done thousands of these webinars and thousands more events where I've said this in person, and I've had all of them shoot up their hand and their name saying, hey, dude, teach my team how to do this. Because they want a service agreement. A service agreement is the lifeblood of the organization. Let's say you don't want to do that. Let's say you want to do something else. Mr. Jones, is it just the fee that you're concerned about? Yeah, I don't want to pay it. So if it weren't for the fee, you move forward the appointment. Is that right? That's right. Well, there's one thing that we can do. We've got a coupon online. Now, I'm not going to make you go online to find it. In fact, you don't have to present anything to your technician. I'm just going to put it in your notes so you take advantage of this coupon. Now, if I do that, is that enough for you to move forward with the appointment today? You see, the cool thing about it is it'll help subsidize the cost of the fee once you move forward with the appointment. So if I do that, is that enough for you to move forward with the appointment today? And then you get a yes, and then you move on from there. So yeah, if they balk at the fee, don't be afraid by that. Just have a plan. And the plan is isolate the concern. Is it just this? Resolve it. So if it weren't for this, you move forward. And then just do an if I, will you question. If I do this, will you do that? And then pause for a response. And that's how you book those calls.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Brigham. Really appreciate that tidbit of advice. You know, that's a question that we hear very often, and you know, many homeowners, you know, we understand where they're coming from when they ask those questions, but what a brilliant answer to really address it, make sure that they're taken care of, you know, all year round during all seasons. Brilliant, brilliant answer. This has been an incredible webinar. You know, I've learned so much from you, Brigham, and I know our audience members have too. So a big round of applause and a big thank you, Brigham, for your time and sharing some best practices. For all our audience members, just another quick reminder, please feel free to take advantage of Brigham's special one-time offer. For those at ServiceTitan, we want to make sure that you can all stay up to date with all the great webinars and all the updates and all the great industry events and conferences that we're going to. We'd love to see you. We'd love to meet you. Please follow us on Facebook. So thank you, Brigham. Thank you, Cassie from PSP, and Nate as well for making this happen. And a big shout out to Reggie on our marketing team here at ServiceTitan, and Alex, our designer, for helping pull this, helping us get this off the ground and get the ball rolling. Please let us know if you have any other questions. We will be sure to send out the recording within 24 to 48 business hours. So I have a good hunch it'll go out Friday. So perhaps you can share this with your team and with your friends and folks that haven't been able to that weren't able to join us on the webinar today. So thank you again, Brigham, and thank you everyone in the audience for tuning in. We really appreciate your time, and we hope this was helpful. See you on the next webinar, everyone. Bye now.